Dad doesn't hit me. All my needs are met. I'm a perfectly happy, healthy 12-year-old child. I recited my default social worker lines. What? Why would you say that? She asked, obviously confused. Well, you're a social worker, aren't you? All you guys do is come around every now and then and ask us if our parents beat us, if we get enough food, and if we have an acceptable quality of life, and then move on to the next one, I answered. What? No, you got it all wrong, kid. I'm in the middle of an investigation, and I just need to... Well, my dad said don't talk to the police unless he's with me. I cut her off. Calm down, I'm not a cop. I'm a private investigator, she explained as she pulled a small piece of paper out of her shirt pocket. Look, you haven't seen this girl by chance, have you? She asked. Oh, my stomach did flips as she held the picture of Amanda to my face, but I kept my cool and squinted at it for a second, to fake thinking before I took it in my hand and said, Hey, Moses, you seen her around lately? Amanda leaned forward for a second, copying what I did under her mask before shaking her head. The lady stuffed the photo back in her pocket with a soft huff before she asked, Well, do you know of any places someone like her could hide or possibly be hidden around here? Nah, not really. A pretty little rich white girl like that around here, oh, she'd stick out like a sore thumb, I lied. Yeah, I guess so. It's hard to blend in around places like this, she sighed. Oh, nice costume, she added, unknowingly patting Amanda on the head. Yeah, werewolves are pretty cool. The hell do you know about it? I barked the question before I'd even realized it. Slow down there, kid. I was homeless for a while when I was a kid. Not too far from here, actually, she said as she looked around. Yeah, I'm sure you know all about the struggle, I mocked. But before I could even finish, she had me by the collar of my shirt and, for a brief second, I was pretty sure I felt both my feet leave the ground. Now listen here, you little shit-ass. You wanna... She started to hiss in my face, but was interrupted by someone calling towards us. Hey, Kara. Detective. We can't fight kids. A man yelled as he ran our way. Do they know anything, or can we leave this before you start a brawl with a couple of middle schoolers? Let's go, she growled, and as they walked away I could hear her scold the other guy. What did I say about using our names in front of the people, dipshit? That's not suspicious at all, I said to Amanda as I turned to face her. Back to trick-or-treating, I suggested. Hey, why are you bouncing? You think I'm pretty, she chirped, which was muffled by the cheap werewolf mask. Oh, God. Let's just go, I moaned, grabbing her wrist and pulling her behind me. You were right, this is so much candy, she squealed, looking down into her hefty bag as we made our way back to the apartment. Look, that's a whole Hershey bar. I told you, I said over my shoulder as we walked, but as I looked back I noticed she'd stopped and was staring straight past me. I walked over to her and asked what she was looking at. It was him, she said, reaching out her hand and pointing towards an alleyway just ahead of us. I saw him walk down there. Who? Wait, what? You mean him? I asked nervously. She nodded her head in response. Okay, wait over there behind the corner. I'll be right back, I instructed. What? Are you stupid or something? She hissed at me under her breath. Well, I have to go see what he's up to. Plus, it'll help if I know what he looks like. Now, go over there and wait for me, I told her before inching my way closer and closer to the alley. As I neared the corner, I could hear him talking to someone. Shouldn't be inviting strangers into a dark alley with you, ma'am. No telling what they might do. The man chuckled maliciously in a heavy country accent. Yeah, well, I'll try to remember that next time. A vaguely familiar woman's voice spoke. I tried to see who it was, but he was standing in front of her. Oh, well, that's the problem. Ain't gonna be no next time, he started to say, but was cut off. Sure, do you know her? The owner of the voice said, as she stepped to the side and held up a piece of paper. God, the social detective, I whispered to myself. Shit, she is so fucked. But fucked she was not. Yeah, I know her, but that ain't what you need to be worrying yourself about right now, little lady, the man said in a way that I could almost hear the grin creak across his face. All of a sudden he lunged at her in a flash. I squeezed my eyes shut, waiting to hear the carnage in my ears, but all I could hear was a low groaning. As I opened my eyes, I saw that the man was now down on his knees. The woman had her hand on his shoulder and was gripping it so tight I could hear the bones crack and crunch from my place far down the alley. I'll ask you one more time, then I torture, the woman said in such a plain conversation voice it was actually disturbing. After a few more seconds of silence, she squeezed down hard on his shoulder and I heard a wet crunch like somebody stomping on a head of lettuce. I don't know where she is. I've been looking for her, but she's hiding somewhere where I can't pick up her smell. I swear. Yeah? I don't believe you, the woman spoke down to the kneeling man as she placed both hands on either side of his face. And with a stiff jerk, she snatched his head clean off his shoulders. I took off as fast as I could back to Amanda, who was visibly unsettled by my sudden retreat. Go! Fucking go now! I hissed into her ear as we both sprinted back to the complex on a different route that didn't take us in front of the alley. What happened? Did he see you? She questioned once we stopped in front of the apartments. It was the investigator, I huffed, trying to catch my breath. What? What about her? Did he get her too? She asked. No, she got him. Ripped his head right the fuck off. Oh, I think I'm gonna puke. I continued to gasp. I don't understand, she whimpered. Yeah, me neither, but we gotta get you back down to the basement. If that lady's looking for you, then we might all be in deep shit. I managed to wheeze out in one go. You go back downstairs. I have to email Mo and tell him to be on the lookout for her when he gets back. I ran up the stairs to my room and went straight to the computer and sent Moses an email with the heading, Trouble, read now, telling him about what I'd seen in the alley. Moses' grandparents dropped him off at school that day, so we met up and walked home once the last bell had rung. Yeah, dude, it was insane. I almost felt sorry for the guy. I said, almost. I emphasized when I saw the look on his face. Well, look, we'll figure it out once we get home, Moses tried to reassure me. But my stomach's been hurting all day. First thing I'm going to do is take a big shit. I was going to say dookie, but yeah, he said. But I had almost run straight into the investigator woman while I was looking back at him. Hey, something wrong, kid? She asked curiously, looking down at me through her glasses. No, I just wasn't paying attention. You startled me, I lied. Ah, well, you should be careful, she suggested. Who's this now? She asked, looking over at Moses. This is my friend Mo, I told her. Ah, the face behind the werewolf mask, she said to him. What? Werewolf mask? Moses said before I had a chance to stop him. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were someone I'd already met. She apologized dismissively, but I could still see the look of suspicion on her face as I grabbed Moses and took off back to the complex. What the hell was that all about? He asked as we ran to the building after trying to casually stroll as far away from the woman as we could. Oh, I think we just fucked ourselves bad, I told him, but then I slid to a stop. Oh, damn it. We can't go back to the building. Why not? Moses asked, confused by the situation. I don't think she knows we live there yet. But if we go there now and she's following us, then we might lead her right back to our home, and Amanda too, I explained. So, what do we do? He asked again. I guess we just wander around until we're sure we're not being followed, I suggested, looking at our surroundings. After about an hour or so, once we were pretty sure she wasn't following us, we started to make our way back home. But we still made a point to keep our eyes open the whole time, just to be sure. When we got back, we ran straight down the stairs to make sure Amanda was okay, and to tell her she might better stay inside since it was starting to get dark and that lady was out prowling around looking for her. "Hey guys, I was starting to wonder where you were. What's wrong?" she asked when she saw the serious look on our faces. "Oh, we ran into that lady on the way home. I think she might be wise to us now," I told her. "We walked around for a while to make sure she didn't follow us back." "Oh, well, thank you for that," she said as she scratched her head. "So, what now?" "We lay low, I guess," I said. "Just be careful not to run into her. We'll lead her back here until she gives up and goes up." Right then, the lights to Amanda's room suddenly flicked off, plunging us into darkness. Somebody had just turned the basement lights on. We all went dead silent as we listened to the footsteps from around the corner as whoever turned the lights on walked around. A few seconds later, the lights in the boiler room flicked back on, and we all took a deep breath of relief. After a few more seconds of carefully listening for any more footsteps, I peeked my head around the corner to check and see if they were gone. Hi. The face that mine was now only an inch or two away from said, as we made eye contact. The lady had been waiting just around the corner, and I almost knocked heads with her as I went to look. I sutured as I fell back on my ass from the shock. "Guys, company!" I shouted back at Moses and Amanda as the woman stepped from behind the corner and into the boiler room with the rest of us. How'd you find us? We made sure you didn't follow us," I managed to choke out. "Ed Calderon's urban movement costs. Worth every penny," she answered. "Just because you didn't see me doesn't mean I wasn't there, kid." "Ah, well, there you are," she exclaimed as her eyes fell on Amanda. "My little dollar store werewolf," she added with a slight grin. "Okay, boys, I'm going to have to ask you to take a hike now. I have business with your friend." She took several steps forward, but stopped when me and Moses both jumped between her and Amanda, throwing our arms up to make a practically useless shield with our bodies. "Okay, guys, that's cute and all, but your friend there has a condition that poses a very real danger to "We already know she's a vampire," I stated defiantly, interrupting her. "Oh yeah, she's some good people though," Moses added. "Oh, well, in that case, you're both idiots. But even so," she said, taking another step forward. We all yelled at once, "We're not going to let you hurt her. Look, you can't. She's our friend. Please, don't rip my head off." What? The lady stopped with a look of bewilderment on her face. But before she could say anything else, a loud crack and a spray of wooden splinters filled the room as someone struck her head from behind with a large board, causing it to shatter and her head to jerk sideways and crash into the far wall. After the impact, she slid limply down to the floor, unconscious. "Yeah, I told you if we waited long enough, she'd lead us to her," the man who struck her called out to someone just behind him. "Now we got her and the girl," he added, turning back to us. "I guess old Jeb was right about hiring them after all." "Well, I guess it's safe to say you're both vampires, and you're not here to help us, are you?" I asked the new guy who was still holding the half piece of destroyed 2x4. "Oh boy, you said it," the man said, leaning down to my level and tossing the board to the floor beside him. "You said it," he repeated as a nasty smirk cracked across his face. Then he reached his hand out towards me, and I squinted my eyes shut in anticipation of whatever was about to happen to me. But nothing did. Instead, I heard Amanda scream from behind me, jolting my eyes wide open as the man picked her up off the ground by her long hair. "Kill him," he instructed.